Thank you for that social content, Al. That'll be great.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to CiNEMACHiNE Review. As we're reviewing Halloween Kills tonight, as you notice, Brandon's not on the show, but I am here with Ryan, of course.
Howdy.
And our very special guest, Mr. BasementBlus himself, Tony. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing good.
Oh, man. I'm so excited to have you on. We've become friends with Tony over the last couple months. And
always in the chat, but now I actually see his face.
Right.
I had Tony on Criterion Corner. He was on the Criterion Roundtable. But if you're not familiar, which I don't know how you couldn't be familiar with Tony's channel, BasementBlus, he has a great channel. So
it's pretty self-explanatory if you look behind him.
Yeah, he's got his own whole entire store back there. I'm sure it gets bigger if you go any further. But Tony, do you want to tell everybody how they can find you?
Yep. So you can find me, of course, as BasementBlus here on YouTube. Also under Instagram and Twitter. And I also have a TikTok account that I rarely use, but I do.
You're better than we are.
He makes music out of many zippers. He's really talented. Everybody, go check it out.
Right.
No, we all kind of envy Tony, and you can hear us talk about it on the live show quite a bit. So, but of course, we're talking about Halloween Kills, so we invited him on. So, everybody, Ryan, do you want to tell everybody where they can find us?
Yeah, hit the subscribe button here on YouTube and notification bell so you can stay up to date on all the videos we're putting out. We are on Instagram at CiNEMACHiNEPod, and we have a Patreon. It's patreon.com/CiNEMACHiNEPod. We appreciate all the support we get there.
There we go. Well, now let's talk about it. Let's get into it. Let's make a quick review. We'll tell you when we're going to start spoiling things and whatnot, but let's get into it. Halloween Kills. Oh, a movie many have waited for. The nightmare isn't over as unstoppable killer Mike Myers escapes from Laurie Strode's trap to continue his ritual bloodbath. Injured and taken to the hospital, Laurie fights through the pain as she inspires residents of Haddonfield, Illinois, to rise up against Myers. Taking matters into their own hands, the Strode women and other survivors form a vigilante mob to hunt down Michael and end his reign of terror once and for all.
It's a little bit of a misleading synopsis there with Jamie Lee Curtis's part in this movie.
Sit in a hospital. This was released last week, October 15th. Of course, has Jamie Lee Curtis, Judy Greer, Andy Matichak, however you say that. Nick Castle's actually in this, it says. Anthony Michael Hall. I mean, you have a host of and James Jude Courtney is playing Michael Myers. Gentlemen, I think we should let our guests go first. What were your initial thoughts, like your short tweet about this movie, Tony?
My initial thoughts, but before seeing it.
Oh, well, okay. So Halloween was in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
So you saw that. Were you amped up for this movie?
Yeah, I was overamped apparently because I was a little disappointed.
Okay.
But after thinking about it for a while and watching other people talk about it, I can kind of see the different points that have been given.
So you kind of have you're kind of middle.
Yeah,
right
mixed.
now.
I really definitely want to see it again. When it gets released on physical media.
So did you see it in the theater or on Peacock?
Oh, I always try to see them in the theater. And the theater that I went to was very crowded and very quiet. There was no cheering, no applause, nothing.
You gotta tell me where this theater is.
Yeah. Up here in the boondocks.
I got to go to the boondocks to watch movies from this point forward. I wanted to go to the theater to see this, but I was unable to, but I wanted to see it immediately. So I did cheat, as did Ryan. Ryan, your initial thoughts? Were you excited to see this movie to begin with?
Yeah, I'm not the biggest horror movie fan, but these movies, these Halloween movies, have always been kind of like the cream of the crop for me. So that's not to say there's been a ton of really good ones, but
yeah,
I really enjoyed 2018. The Legacy sequel method
Just the year in general. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
It's the last good year.
So I was excited to see this one. I kind of agree with Tony. First viewing was a little underwhelmed. I was impressed by certain elements of the movie. The flashback stuff with the prosthetics with Loomis and all that, like that stuff I was like, what is happening right now? This is well done. But yeah, I do want to see it again, but first reaction was a little bit underwhelmed.
Yeah, I think I'm right there with you guys. I was amped up. Now, I will say this. I just saw the 2018 movie. I was watching the what's the Sopranos movie name? Saints of Newark or whatever. Many Saints of Newark. I was watching that, and the Michael Gandolfini or whatever his name is, his face doesn't look real to me, and it made me think of Michael Myers the whole time because it looks like it's a mask over a real face. And so I wanted to watch Halloween after that. And Ryan, I will say this, Ryan has said that 2018 was so good, but I liked all the Halloween movies back in the day, like when I was a kid. And then H2O came out and Resurrection, and they tried to do the Scream thing, and they tried to make it more hip and cool, and totally went against the integrity of the original 5. And Curse of Michael Myers might be the biggest atrocity. And I gave it a shot whenever Rob Zombie revamped, and that was just
twisted.
Well, it's that doesn't bother me as much as it's just John Carpenter was interviewed and asked, what'd you think about it? And he's like, well, first off, Rob Zombie lied about me. He said I didn't give him I gave him my full blessing, said this is yours, and then he went out and lied about me, and like it made him mad. And John Carpenter said he just told too much information about Michael Myers. Mm-hmm. Michael Myers, the thing that scares you is nothing about him except he stabbed his sister. And the first movie, like, you're just like, why did he do this? Like and he gave him way too much motive and such like that. Yeah. So I was a little hesitant. I was like, oh, okay, here we go. Nobody knows how to tell these stories again. And Ryan was telling me, oh man, it's a good movie. It's a good movie. And that made me more trepidatious. So I waited a while.
Seeing as how he liked Zack Snyder's Justice League, and
I waited a while, and I watched it last week or a week before, and I liked it a lot. I really thought, okay, they got the integrity back, and so I was amped up. I was so amped up that I went on a spending spree, which I'll show you guys later. Which I know Tony went on quite a spending spree himself on Halloween, which we'll get to later. But Halloween Kills was right in line with like the H2Os and the Resurrections and the Curse of Michael Myers. It was just trying way too hard to be a Halloween movie. And it had a very thin script, in my opinion. And it just took the high out of my whole entire mood. And to be honest with you, I was watching it again right before I came up to do this. Just because, not because anybody else said anything, I was really just trying to remember the movie. And we'll get into all of that. But I think the best part of this movie, bar none, is the music. The music is awesome. And I'm getting the vinyl. So I'm getting that since I missed out on the Scream Factory vinyl. But I'm getting that. And I even watched a whole entire YouTube by John Carpenter, just listening to it on vinyl. He wasn't there. It was just spinning on vinyl. So I'm pretty excited.
He's just sitting there like,
John Carpenter said to do it. So I did it. Anyway. All right. So we're going to get into a few spoilers here.
Yep.
If you go past this point, that's your fault. Not my fault. Go watch the movie. Don't spoil it for yourselves. I would say that this movie is worth watching if you liked 2018 because it does that. But it has a few too many member berries, which we'll get into. So, spoilers from this point forward. You've been warned? Okay.
Again and again.
All right. So, did you guys think that like Tommy, like the survivors of the original movie, you know, did you think they were out of place? Did you think they fit in this movie? How did you feel about them, Tony?
They felt very out of place to me. I don't think that they belonged at all.
Right.
I think maybe just them living in the town might have been something, or maybe just seeing them at the bar when we saw them.
Mm-hmm.
But having them be a integral part of that centerpiece seemed a little too much.
It was a little fan servicey.
Yes.
This was like the Star Wars horror movie where it felt like they were trying to build a universe. And I was like, stop it with the universe garbage. Again, in this movie, this was my critique of 2018, really. I could tell a lot of the scenes that Danny McBride really wrote.
Mm-hmm.
Like the older couple where Michael really just keeps putting knives in Lenny Clark's back. I just thought their dialogue was not something that those two people would have said to one another. I didn't think the drone or anything. I thought it was just all kind of like, what is this? I did feel like the other people, the legacy characters were so far out of place. And everybody was trying to make this big deal that they brought Kyle Richards back. I didn't care. I don't care. They could have put anybody in her place and told me it was her, and I would have been okay.
Yeah. Seriously. The biggest, the most distracting thing in this movie for me was Anthony Michael Hall. Yeah. I was just like, calm down, bro.
Yeah.
Calm down.
Yeah. Is it just me, or does he look like Daryl Hall with a shaved head?
I can see that.
From Hall & Oates.
I just felt like he was just on this blood crusade.
Yeah.
I was just like, what is happening right now?
I'm gonna do it for Lori. And if I heard "Evil Dies Tonight" one more time, I was gonna kill somebody. It was so annoying. It was like, I get it. You have a catchphrase. Yeah, they really wanted that to go out there. Well, one thing that I've noticed after kind of binging, and I've seen all the other Halloween movies up to this point, but I went back and I binged the older ones. One thing I've noticed is, I think, and I text this to Ryan and Brandon the other night, I really think Michael Myers is the Jason Bourne of slashers. He's very resourceful. He's like, oh, a window? I'll kill you with that. And he'll just shut your head in it. Oh, a banister? I'll kill you with that. And then he's like, hey, I got a light bulb. Crack? Kill you with that. And he's just killing everybody with everything. And so that became comical in my mind as I was watching this movie and the others. Another thing I noticed is that Michael Myers in this movie, if we look at it, he's like, what, 21 in the original movie, I believe, because it's 15 years after he's 6. So this is 40 years after that. So he's 61 years old.
Mm.
And without any kind of vitamin drink or any kind of Pedialyte or anything, the dude's got superhuman strength.
Mm-hmm.
Did you watch that TikTok video I sent
about him? I gotta kill.
working out and stuff.
yeah. But it's just he's 61 at this point.
Yeah.
So we got to look at this like the Elvis conversation. Eventually, Elvis is just gonna die. You can't think Elvis is just gonna be alive forever. So eventually, this guy, if he's doing all this time, and he's been in a halfway house or whatever you want to call it for 40 years, it didn't look like they were really working out. They were chained in a square, if you remember, in 2018.
Yeah.
Where's he getting this strength from? I mean, I know they're trying to make him into this superhuman at this point.
Yeah, I had this conversation with my buddy who I watched the movie with, because he's very much in the vein of he just likes to view Michael Myers as a human slasher, nothing.
That's what I like. He's
And
like the Batman of slashers.
so I kind of like the element, and I don't want it to be overexplored, but I like the element of there being some sort of like demonic part of his character that could account for the fact that he just gets. I mean, this dude's been
Through the ringer.
yeah,
Shot, stabbed.
right.
His head was cut off.
Like at the end there, and where everybody was just like meleeing him on the ground, and then he just gets up and just
Yeah.
everyone.
So let's
ended.
talk about that. Were the kills fun for you guys in this movie, or were they just kind of fan servicey as well? Ryan.
I this is the first movie that I kind of noticed like he's kind of like a guy who kills people, and he'll do his little head turn or whatever, and then he's out, like on to the next one.
Yeah.
But this one, there was a lot of like lingering, like where he's like stabbing the guy on the counter, or just over and over and over. I was like, this is kind of new.
Yeah.
I don't really know. I want to see the last one before I make the final call on that. My gut instinct is I'm not a huge fan of that concept.
Mm-hmm.
Just because in all the movies he's very driven by Lori,
hatred,
like,
and just
yeah, like but yeah, I had an issue with that part of the killing, I guess.
Yeah, I can see that.
But
Tony?
I'll give the next movie before I make my final verdict on that.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to see the next movie still. Tony, what do you think about the kills?
So I definitely enjoyed having him on screen. In this movie in particular, we saw a lot of Michael Myers, and like Ryan was saying, the way he lingered around, especially with the older gentleman that he stabbed and stabbed and stabbed while the wife watched after being stabbed in the throat with a light bulb. I mean, they were some really good kills. I enjoyed that part of it. I enjoyed the creativity of all the different kills. Young man on the
banister
going down the stairway and all that.
The boyfriend and stuff.
Yeah,
the boyfriend needed to die. I think everybody wanted him to die because I think they made his character out to where he just needed to die. How about all of the flashback scenes?
Dude,
did they take you out of the movie, or did they help you with the movie? Go ahead, Ryan.
Was I the only one who was blown away? Like, I did no research on this movie beforehand. I really only watched the first teaser. Like, I don't know what all they showed.
Okay.
But the Loomis sequence, I was like, what is going on right now?
Do you know how they did that?
Yeah, it's all practical. The guy worked on the
the construction guy
or something. He worked on this.
It was a construction. He works on the construction of like building.
It's crazy. Like, yeah, because I'm watching it and I'm like, okay, I've been watching all these Star Wars movies and whatever, and they're doing these deep fake faces, and this looks way better than any.
Yeah, that's my first thought.
And I'm like, there's no way that, like, did I like miss something in the original movie, or like is this unused footage? But I read about that after the fact. And I was like, this is.
Yeah, I watched a video of them doing the makeup.
Yeah.
It was it was a video talking about the makeup, but they weren't doing the makeup. They just had pictures of him in the makeup chair, and they had like the veins in his, like, it was just like Instagram so well made.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Tony, how about you with all the flashbacks and everything?
Yeah, so I really loved the start of the movie. I thought, man, this is gonna be really good. I enjoyed the flashbacks. And the scene that Ryan just talked about, I thought that was amazing. That was a surprise. I don't typically watch trailers. I like to be surprised, and so that was definitely a big surprise for me.
Man,
was that in the Al? Did you watch the trailer? Like, was that in the trailer?
I don't believe he was. I haven't seen. I watched the Halloween Kills trailer like the day it came out, and I honestly, I'm pretty good at witness protection program, just forgetting everything about the trailer. I don't know how I do it, but I do it.
Men in Black.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we over here at CiNEMACHiNE like to go in blind as much as we possibly can, to be honest with you. So, Tony quickly becoming a part of our crew, part of our world. So I thought the flashbacks were serviceable to a certain degree. I thought the Loomis thing was great. I thought the part where the officer shot the other officer in the neck, I thought that was kind of overkill, and you don't need to improve upon the original movie. And you also don't need to remind us of every single kid when, okay, first off, Anthony Michael Hall, hang on. Anthony Michael Hall goes to this place where everybody's having a good time and then says, hey, everybody, you want to be bummed out? Listen to this. I'm going to remind you of
this
the
is where
worst.
my psychotic break happens tonight.
I'm going to remind everybody of how terrible this town is. Let's have a good time. All right. So, yeah, all these people died and this maniac killed them and we survived it. And let's give us a big round of applause. And it just totally killed the vibe in the place. And I was like, who does that? Who does that? You know, it was like so poorly written.
I felt like there needed to be more connective tissue between the sequence with him, you know, almost getting killed by him when he was a kid and where he was at before he delivered that speech.
And the thing is that whenever they kept flashing back to show what each kid went through, you know, or like what everybody, all the survivors went through, I should say, because one of them wasn't a kid. That drove me crazy. That's the kind of flashbacks we don't need. That's just like, hey, you idiot.
Yeah.
That's what they're basically saying. Hey, you moron.
Did you even watch the first movie?
Yeah. It's like, okay, you know, and I don't excuse that garbage from the director or whatever, because they're like, oh, that's a studio note or whatever. I don't care. It's your fault that it's in there. You didn't fight hard enough is the way I look at it. So you made a really good movie. I know they made these back to back and had to sit on this movie for a year and change. But I just felt like they kind of leaned on those flashbacks a little too much.
Yeah.
If they peppered them in and just got rid of a bunch of them, it'd been great. There were a lot of member berries in this movie from the movies that they say they erased by flashing forward 40 years. So Halloween 3 is one of those movies that a lot of people don't like and a lot of people love. There's no in between. You know, it's either you love it or you hate it. It's a polarizing movie. But those 3 masks that here, I'll just go ahead and show you my obsession. I bought 18, and then I bought the 5 from Scream Factory, which Tony's about to pull a
shopping cart into frame.
Yeah, and then I bought this with 3 of the movies: H2O, Resurrection, and Curse of Michael Myers. This is garbage. Like every single movie on this is garbage, but these are beautiful.
The cover art on all of those like 2000s movies is it's just agonizing to look at.
Well, it's all Scream. Yeah, that's what it is. It's all Scream.
Yeah.
And so so Tony, go ahead and show me how it's ridiculous. And he's got a whole unboxing on this on his channel, so I highly suggest it.
This is my favorite.
That's pretty cool. Well, that's Michael Myers. So,
and then on the inside, of course, you got the vinyl.
That's awesome,
man.
Yeah, with the theme, Halloween theme, Laurie's theme, all those great theme songs, and then just the packaging.
I can just marvel at it because
Al's gonna kick you out the show.
No, I'm not. I'm kicking myself because I didn't pre-order. And but I do highly suggest you go watch Tony's unboxing on BasementBlus because he's got that, and he's got 31 Days of Horror where he's doing a show every day where he talks a new video every day.
That's impressive.
He's got like the Criterion one on there about Criterion horror movies, so on and so forth. I've been taking a deep dive on that. I had to take a break from Tony's channel just to watch Halloween movies, but I'll be back on that. But
I do want to show this one last one.
Please. Oh, there we go.
Speaking of this,
those are the masks.
I did enjoy that throwback in the movie.
Yeah.
Where the kids were wearing the costume, which were the same kids from the last movie, the 2018 Halloween.
Yeah.
But I did like the way that it continued on from 2018. And I might have enjoyed this newer one if they would have if I would have watched 2018 prior to seeing.
Yeah, I agree. I wanted to rewatch before, but I watched it
a couple of days, like a few days before I watched this.
Yeah.
and I'm still kind of down on this movie. It just really kicked the legs out from underneath me. I went on this kick of buying all these movies, spent all this money, but these 3 masks right here.
Mm-hmm.
If you go back to when Kyle Richards is running through that playground and those snot-nosed kids, which those little kids that were snot-nosed might have been the best actors in the whole movie, because I really hated them, and that's what they were supposed to make me do. They're like, yeah, he just wants to play hide and go seek, and that kid with the full mouth of braces was hilarious to me. But they had these masks on between the 3 of them, and the one person that's hanging on the swing set has this mask on.
Yeah.
The one that goes on the front of the car where Michael Myers goes on top of the car is this one. And then this one is somewhere in there. I can't remember, but it's in there. So they do call back to that. They call back to a lot of the older movies quite a bit. So it's fun to go back and watch the original 5. I wouldn't worry with the curse, or if you want to watch a really bad movie and almost hate Paul Rudd, watch Curse of Michael Myers. It's his first movie, so he's going to be bad. But I don't know if you guys recognize the member berries in here, but I did feel like it was like in a horror movie. I don't want fan service. I want terror. I want anger and grit, and I don't want, hey, look, my favorite character. And when they brought the old cop back from the first movie, and he says the same line,
I don't think anybody like who, at least myself, I don't like put on a new horror movie, and like create this huge connection with the babysitter who that's not what I'm watching it for. I'm watching it for what you're saying, like to be scared, who kills, like that kind of thing.
Well, we know that people should watch and everything. This is where our spoilers end. We're going to talk about what we think will happen in Halloween Ends before we head out here, because Ryan's got to watch a baseball game. So
go Braves.
So Tony, what do you think will happen, and what do you hope will happen in Halloween Ends?
Yeah, see, I don't really think much about the next movie. I do hope that it's better than what this last one was.
Yes. Same here.
And you said no spoilers, right?
You can spoil whatever you want to. Just everything spoilers. Everything.
Yeah. So the way that they ended this particular movie with Laurie's daughter being killed, and now I think there's going to be hopefully Jamie Lee Curtis actually has a big part in this next one. Because she was definitely sidelined in this one.
Yeah, she was in a hospital bed in this part 2 as she was in the original part 2.
And I hope they keep it low cast to where there's not 100 million people in this movie.
Yeah, we get it. Mom mentality sucks. We get it.
Yeah, be done with all that and just really focus on it being a good Halloween movie, something scary, something that makes you. This movie, this one we just saw, wasn't scary at all. I wasn't scared at all in this one.
No,
this wasn't really surprised or anything.
Other than a little blood, this felt PG-13 to me.
Yeah,
there wasn't a lot of misdirects in this.
No,
but surprising. I'm glad they didn't. I'm glad they didn't try to do like a ton of just like empty like it jump scares, where
the mirror, close the mirror, open the mirror,
where like Michael's just coming out like wiggling, it's like that would have made me mad. So yeah, I agree with you, Tony.
Yeah, and thinking about the 2018 movie, what I really loved about that one was when the movie's, Michael walking through the neighborhood, and you're kind of like in his point of view. I enjoyed that part of the 2018 movie, and this movie right here didn't really have that. You didn't wonder where he was because you saw him constantly. There was no surprise kills. There wasn't really nothing like that going on. I kind of missed that.
You know what this movie felt like? It felt like and this is going to make a lot of people mad. It felt like if Zack Snyder made a Halloween movie and he messed it up like he does everything. And then he got $90 million, which is only a $20 million budget. And they did a lot more with it. And then he just like said, you know what? We're just going to make it a lot longer and make people think it's better. And that's what this felt like to me. Go ahead, Ryan. What were you going to say?
I hate you.
I didn't say anything.
Yeah. No, the thing that I enjoyed most about the first movie was I love the fact that they turned the tables on Michael. And Jamie Lee Curtis
just a
was
crazy
very
lady?
different than how we have seen her in any of the previous movies. And I'm excited to see, as crazy as she was experiencing what she experienced and creating that fortress that she created, like the fact that he killed her daughter now, like I almost want to see like slasher versus slasher. Yeah, I think I don't know. That's the most compelling thing for me is I'd like to see. I want to see what her reaction is to this whole thing.
Yeah.
Well, I think the fact that we're all on movie channels, on movie shows on YouTube, I think we all understand that Halloween Ends is not going to be the end. They're going to milk this until it's just completely dry, which that's what they did in the 90s. And then they'll revamp it and give it some other life, So I think what they're going to try to do is make the granddaughter Allison, I think they're going to try to make her the new Jamie Lee Curtis, pass the torch. I think, she's got motive now. And I think Michael Myers will eventually, like, it'll look like they killed each other. I think that's what'll happen.
The granddaughter and him?
No, Jamie Lee Curtis and Michael Myers. Okay. I think it'll look like when an Curse of Michael Myers, I think Loomis and Michael Myers kind of kill each other is what it looks like. Loomis kills them both in the big fire. I think it's in it's in 5. It's in 5. And so and then Loomis is back in the next one because they have to have that attachment to him because Jamie Lee Curtis wasn't there. So I think that's the kind of thing that's going to happen. I hope that Danny McBride doesn't write as many scenes because you can tell and they're really stupid. The cop scene in the last movie, and just there were a couple scenes in this one. I was just like, oh my God, stop with the stupid dialogue. It was just terrible. I hope that they kind of make this less about the Strodes and make this more about Michael Myers, and because they're trying to separate that connection between Laurie and Michael, and she's just a crazy lady now. So I can appreciate that because they're just trying to kill what the studios made them do back in the day, because John Carpenter hates part 2,
Yeah, I did appreciate the end, how they kind of showed, whether it's a vision or a ghost of the little girl up in
Michael's sister's bedroom. Yeah. Where that makes Karen go up there. Yeah.
I enjoyed that. Like that, I feel like that kind of stuff is an easy lead in to kind of exploring the stuff that you're talking about.
Yeah. I hope that I like at least some of the characters in the next movie, because this movie I wanted everybody to die.
Yeah. Also, it's got to be said, what crazy nutcase person moves into that house?
2 hipster dudes, man. Oh, and by the way, Big John,
he's alive. He's in prison.
Yeah. Big John was my least favorite character in this movie.
Big John, Little John?
Little John was my least favorite.
So I don't mind Michael McDonald just because I'm not saying he was good in this by any stretch of the imagination, but whoever the guy that played Big John is, that just wasn't like, why was he that angry and that moody after dancing and smoking upstairs?
It was weird.
Why was he in such a good mood? And then all of a sudden he just like had this short few, it just didn't make sense.
Sure.
A lot of that seemed like Danny McBride wrote it. I just felt like they were trying to get all that. I even heard somebody say Michael Myers isn't against anybody's kind of lifestyle. I'm like, shut up. Like, let's not make all this political.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I'm not excited about the next movie. They did say we are going to make it extremely political. Mm-hmm. So that kind of bums me out because they did force politics into this a little bit, even though it was before the politics really started. So they filmed it before the politics really started. So I get it. But either way, I say go watch it. Do you guys suggest people watch it, miss it? Do you think they should just go watch other Halloween movies instead? What do you think they should do, Tony?
Yeah, so I actually recommended a couple of people that I know to go see it, and then the feedback I got back from them, they weren't very happy about seeing that movie.
they were like,
I'm not going to recommend it
Venmo
anymore.
account is, and you can pay me back for going to see that. Yeah. So, Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, so again, I'm biased. I have a weakness for these movies. If you're looking for a good Halloween movie to watch, like, you're not gonna go wrong by watching a Halloween movie.
Right.
If they're good or bad, like, it's just, they're fun movies to watch. So yeah, I mean, I would definitely recommend checking it out, especially if you saw 2018. I think it's worth the time. Definitely not as strong, but I think it's worth the time.
Well, I think people should still see it, but I think people should go back and watch 1 through 5, then 18, and then this. And if you've
got a free 20 hours or so,
but 'tis the season, right? So they're fun little movies. They're weird, they're quirky, So
yeah.
All right, Tony, I want to thank you so much for coming on and reviewing this movie with us. We had a great time. We're definitely going to have you on CiNEMACHiNE. We know that. So why don't you tell everybody again where they can find you, and we'll get out of here in just a minute.
Yep. So you can find me on YouTube under BasementBlus, and on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok.
Yeah, TikTok.
Should see that. I gotta check out your TikTok channel.
600 million views on one video of him doing that dance from the 90s, the Tootsie Roll. So it's very entertaining. So all right, Ryan, you want to tell everybody where they can find us again?
Yeah, hit the subscribe button here on YouTube and notification bell so you can stay up to date on all of our videos. We are on Instagram at CiNEMACHiNEPod, and we have a Patreon, patreon.com/CiNEMACHiNEPod. We appreciate all of the support that we get there.
Absolutely. I want to thank everybody for tuning into this review. Let us know what you think down in the comments. Let us know if you disagree with us, if you really liked Halloween Kills. Also, let us know your ranking of all the Halloween movies. We'll try to put ours down in the comments. I will say this, go buy these from Shout Factory. They're really good. They're really good transfers. They look beautiful. As of right now, it's the best way to watch them at home. So thanks, everybody. And until next time, watch lots and lots of movies. We'll see you on the next CiNEMAChine.